Hey guys, welcome back to Surroguide. I'm Veronica,
And I'm Travis.
and today we're filming our matching part 2 video. In this video, we were talking about the match meeting that we had and how that went, the dynamic of what you should expect from your match meeting. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us again. So as Veronica had mentioned, today we're going to be discussing our match meeting that we had with the parents, with the intended parents. And for those of you who don't know what the match meeting is, we have matched with the parents already, and this is our official meeting after reviewing each other's profiles. We like each other. Now we get to have a virtual meeting like Zoom, where we actually get to meet face to face. This is a meeting where the intended parents and us will discuss how we want the surrogacy to go, kind of our view of what we think is going to be best.
Expectations,
setting expectations for both of us. And this is the official meeting where we get to finally decide if this is really the family that we want to work with, and vice versa. They get to decide whether or not we're officially the surrogate that they would like to work with. And our match meeting went very well, I would say.
Oh yeah.
We were both extremely nervous going into it, as we are with every step in the process. But meeting them, as soon as we got on the call, they were really warm and welcoming. The coordinator was there with us too. So the coordinator is there to guide us through the interview, just so we can make sure that all the hard topics get covered.
Yeah.
The meeting kind of has a little bit of structure, and we're not both just sitting there wondering what the heck to talk about. So she did provide us with a list of questions that we would go through for the meeting, so that way we were prepared and kind of knew.
And she sent me this list. So before the official meeting, we scheduled a phone call to where she'd kind of give me the rundown of what to expect at the meeting, so I'm not going in blind. And I appreciated it because I love to be in the know, and so I did not have any surprises thrown at me. So she gave us a list of everything we could expect at the meeting. And it's all structured, all the questions that she's going to ask the intended parents and myself, any questions that are only for me, questions for the intended parents, it's all in there. So this is kind of what we're using as a guide to kind of let you know what was said at the meeting. But yeah, I mean,
So for the most part, we just initially kind of discussed our support networks, what exactly why we decided to do surrogacy. Why are the intended parents in the position that they're in? Why did we decide
what's their story?
Right. Why did we decide to help somebody? Why did we decide surrogacy was good for us? And then we discussed some of our support network, our families, and whether or not they're supportive, who we've told, and just kind of some of those basic introductory kind of topics there.
Yeah, they asked Travis about my previous pregnancies, what it was like. And thankfully, pretty smooth sailing. So nothing that is concerning at all health-wise. And diet and exercise, I'm very simple. I feel like I'm busy with my kids, and that's my exercise. But mainly just taking walks and stuff. But yeah, so they just wanted to know roughly what do I do intense workouts?
What's our lifestyle like?
Yeah.
Do we eat healthy? Do we go on walks? Do we keep our family safe? Those kinds of things. They obviously don't want you to be in an unsafe position, or to have an unhealthy lifestyle, be eating out every single day.
Yeah.
And, they just want to make sure that you're
a good
conscious.
fit to carry their baby.
Right, yeah, you're conscious of your health.
A lot of the questions in regards to if I'm okay with getting certain vaccines, the parents were saying if their doctor recommends it. because they weren't gonna want me to do anything that I'm uncomfortable with. They prefer like a medical professional. If they feel it's in my best interest as their surrogate, then them to recommend it. So I kind of have respect there, because they're not saying they would prefer me to do X, Y, and Z. They only want me to do it if it's like medically recommended.
And we were both pretty much on the same page with that. You know, we're pretty comfortable with whatever the doctor recommends as well. We trust the fertility doctors and we trust the process, so we were all kind of on the same page there. We talked about the embryo status, you know, kind of what was going on there. Do they have an embryo ready? Is it their biological embryo? Are they
using a donor?
going with a donor or something?
Yeah, because many intended parents, like, they'll either have embryos that they've made themselves, or they'll go through a donor. So it's good to just kind of know, like, is, you know, the baby related to both parents or just one parent, or is the baby not related to either? So, I mean, it's just something that they kind of touch base on.
Yeah, and then they discussed, obviously, if there's issues with the embryo and the pregnancy, you know, what are our views on termination and where we stand
and then
on
also,
that.
I mean, whether the parents are okay with terminating a Down syndrome baby. And thankfully, our intended parents are against that. They're only willing to terminate if the baby's life or my life are threatened. So we definitely see eye to eye there.
So yeah, that was definitely a comforting topic.
Yeah. And then relationship and bonding. So expectations there.
As to like how we want our relationship to be after the birth. Want to keeping in touch and stuff.
Yeah, and then delivery room as well.
And,
like what we're okay with. And I mean, we were pretty much on the same page. We've discussed it in the past, so we knew what our comfortability level was, and mainly the intended mother being in the delivery room is totally fine, and all of us hanging out, her husband, Travis, and I being in the delivery room, hanging out until you know, it's time to push, and then Travis would support the dad in the waiting room, while the intended mother and my doula support me in giving birth.
Yeah, and I could say, you know, through the whole process that we found so far, our views and the intended parents' views line up pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, and I did want to reiterate that they did make it very clear to us that they didn't want to do anything or put us into any position that we were not comfortable with. You know, her health, her safety, and comfortability were first. One of the biggest things for them, and we really appreciated that.
And then, like, I mean, wanting to stay in touch after birth was huge for us. And they completely agree. They would like to keep in touch, and so we're just so grateful that we were able to find a family that their views match up with ours. And I feel like that's what every surrogate wants. And so I'm so grateful that we were able to find ours. And then timing, they wanted to make sure that we didn't have any big trips planned that would kind of interfere with the timeline.
Right, yeah. So they just wanted to make sure that we had an idea of the timeline. Like Veronica said, they wanted to make sure that we don't have any plans to go out of state or out of the country, because, you know, at a certain point in the pregnancy, it can be extremely risky to be flying out of the country for legal reasons and other pregnancy-related reasons. So,
and a big one is, like, if you were past like 32 weeks, there's a chance you can go into labor. And if you're in a state that doesn't recognize surrogacy, then there's a chance that you will be the legal parent to the baby. And then it gets kind of ugly legal-wise, that the parents would have to adopt their baby from you. So that's kind of why they want you to stay within your state, because if your state obviously is surrogacy friendly, otherwise you wouldn't be able to do it.
But if you do have to travel out of state, do it to a state that is surrogacy friendly. Because that having to go through the legalities of the baby, you being the legal parent of the baby, and then the parents having to adopt can get, like Veronica had mentioned, really, really messy,
Yeah.
and just cause a huge headache for everyone.
Yeah.
So other than that, that was pretty much the last topic they had for us. They just at the end kind of asked us if we had any just kind of odds and end questions, any concerns or anything like that we didn't cover, which we did pretty good. We covered pretty much everything that we had wanted to know and to verify. So yeah, in the end, it was an awesome meeting, and we decided that we wanted to move forward with them.
So that is pretty much everything that happened during our match meeting. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have a couple videos coming soon on the legal process and how our medical screening went, so make sure to be on the lookout for those. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.